Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? I don't know if you've noticed this, but when it comes to the world of self-help or self-actualization or improvement or growth, there seem to be these two competing mindsets, which at first glance are diametrically opposed to one another, totally on different poles. And one is based on self-responsibility, and the other one is based on self-compassion. And one of the things I've learned in recovery is what we do there is applicable to the rest of life. And one of the first things, the most important things we do in recovery is to stop making excuses. We admit the truth that we've got this problem, and then we stop using. And in other areas of life, it's the same. It's this idea that we take stock of like where we're at. And if there's something about us, about our lives that we don't like, that we want to change, we admit the truth about that. Okay, here's where we are right now. Okay. And then we take this inventory, take stock of everything. Okay, why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I here right now? What caused me to behave this way? How did I get here? Was it my fault? Was it not my fault? What are all these? What are these factors? And then, if I did certain things, why did I do them? What were they? Old coping strategies that no longer worked really well, but they were habitual? Am I dealing with past trauma? Whatever it happens to be. And then we start to make amends in the recovery process, because we can do that inventory for any part of our life. We start to make these amends, we start to make these changes. And in the recovery process, here's where things kind of diverge, because we make real amends. We don't just say sorry. But some people, can get very polarized and say, well, you know what, you don't need to make amends to yourself. Our disease is based on self-obsession and selfishness. You need to worry about these other people. Other people will kind of go on the other side and say, well, no, you need to be very self-compassionate. Very often we're sick people, and we did things not because we were bad people, but because we didn't know what else to do, because we carried all this trauma and all these, coping strategies that worked when we were children, and we didn't know what else to do. We were kind of like, working without a full playbook and just, floundering. And we were human beings. And the truth is somewhere in the middle. Both of these are true, but the recipe, the ratio of what, how much, take responsibility for yourself and how much be compassionate with yourself about where you are, what do you use. And different people need different things, and sometimes they need different things at different times. Some people can be very, they have a lot of self-deception, and they need to be kind of strong-armed a little bit and say, listen, you need to take responsibility for this, because they deny their part in where they are and what they've done. Other people, they, just need some compassion because they beat themselves up so much for where they are, for what they've done. And this isn't just in recovery. This is in when you find yourself somewhere in life and you just feel terrible about yourself. Sometimes you need the whack in the rear end, say, okay, get going, do something, take some responsibility, and start acting to get what you want to get or to go where you want to go, to whatever kind of improvement you want. And sometimes you need some compassion. You need more of like a pep talk, or like it's okay to be where you're at, and it's okay to have, fallen short, compared to where you want to be, all that kind of stuff. And you need a lot of discernment when you're working with people or talking with people. What do they need, and what do they need right now? Everybody has a different past. Everybody, while we're similar as human beings, or if we're similar as addicts, if we happen to be in recovery, we all have a different story. We all have a different place we came from. We all have different needs and different backgrounds and different makeups. And sometimes, you need to kind of read where people are at. And very often, you need to read where you're at. You need to be able to have that same ratio with yourself. How much do I need to kick myself in the butt right now? And how much do I need to be compassionate with myself? Sometimes people need to push. Sometimes people need a hug. A lot of times we need both. You know what I mean?